Cool. All right. Well, nobody here yet, but welcome. We're going to be doing the first live stream ever on my channel, and we're going to be trying to figure out Swift UI, how to basically create. Let me bring it over here. This. So we designed this the other day. Yeah, yesterday, I think. It's nothing crazy. It's pretty straightforward. We're using the basic Apple design patterns and design components and stuff like that. But eventually, it won't look like this. Eventually, it'll look like something amazing, something really amazing, you know. But right now, I think what's most important is one, learning Swift and Swift UI because I don't really know how to do those things, and two, also making sure that everything works functionally. Because if the app doesn't work functionally, it doesn't really matter how good it looks. It doesn't actually do the thing that you need it to do. And so today in this live stream, I don't know how long it'll take exactly, probably maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe. Um, Maybe less, I don't know exactly, but I want to go and try and make this thing at the very least. Maybe we'll get a little bit further, but at the very least, I'd like this to kind of be set up, and we can also learn a little bit more about Swift and Swift UI in this video or in this stream. I'm used to saying video, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we are going to bring this back over to my other screen, and we'll get started. Also, I think I'll try and talk out loud. Oh, we have viewers. Hey guys. Well, welcome. So we're gonna be. I mentioned this in my last video that we were going to do some live streaming to actually do working sessions for the app that we designed. So I'll bring that over really quick. In the previous video from yesterday, we were in Figma and we created this here. And so what I want to do in this video is we're going to actually try and create that using Swift UI, which I don't know Swift UI. So this is actually my first time using Swift UI. So that'll kind of be part of the fun. Also, I'm using OBS, this program called OBS to do this live stream. And I don't actually really know how to use it. So if there's a way to see the chat here somehow, that would be great, but I'm not sure how that works using OBS or even YouTube live streaming in general, because this is the first time I've ever done it. So, bear with me, I guess, is the message that I'm trying to get across there. So having said that, let's go ahead and start doing that. So the first thing that I think we need, and also I'm going to try, usually I don't talk out loud to myself as I'm developing things. Maybe if I'm working through a problem, I'll do it, but usually I'm not going to do that. I'll try and do that for now because I think that's better for the chat or for the stream. I'm not used to this, so I apologize. But we'll get used to it and it'll be a lot of fun. So the first thing that we need, looking at this design over here, is the welcome screen. So I deleted the welcome screen. I was playing around with this a little bit last night because I didn't want to look like a complete idiot on a live stream. But either way, having said that, let's go and add our welcome screen here. So let's call this welcome view. I don't think I have anything that's like sensitive that I'm showing in this screen as far as I can tell. So I think we should be good. I don't know, does anyone know, concurrent views versus views? So one thing I don't know is views versus concurrent views. I'm not sure what that means exactly. I want to look that up really quick because I really don't know. YouTube stream views versus concurrent views. How many viewers are watching the stream at each second? As views join and leave the stream, this number will fluctuate up and down. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and add in our welcome screen that we were just kind of working on. So we're actually gonna have a VStack And one thing I don't like, I will say this, I don't like about Xcode is that, and this is more of a me thing. Um, I I want to use my VS Code keyboard bindings, keyboard shortcuts in Xcode, and I didn't. I mean, I saw a way that you could do it. I think there was like you can import something or you could do it manually, and it just didn't really seem as easy and straightforward as I would have liked it to be, which I found to be a little annoying. But whatever. Let's add in the ultimate productivity app. Yeah, that's what I wrote. And then we'll have a sign in with Apple button. But this actually, weirdly enough, this does not come from here. So this was moved. And how do I oh, there you go. That's what I want. Swift UI. Cannot get more video. On request, yeah. Request and then completion. I don't know really what to call this, but we're just gonna say print request. This argument of completion is not going to say completion for very long. Oh, that's a huge button. Okay. We don't want that. We want it to be something more along the lines of, well, wait a minute, hold on. For starters, I think up here, we want sign in, or sorry, what was the other option? Continue. I guess sign up. And then, how did I do that? I mean, I guess you could just do this, but oh, that didn't work. With sure 100. Whoops. Height. How's that? Yeah, not exactly what we want. Let's do 50. And then we'll do 200. How does that look? Better? What about 250? What does that get us? That looks even better. Okay, good. Cool. Now, what I want to do is I want to make this text. Do I count as one of the concurrent viewers? Chat rate. How do I see the chat? Is there anything in the chat? I don't even know. OBS, YouTube, stream, see, chat. So let's make this font system 40. Can also do this 50. All right. Not the greatest looking thing in the world, but it is okay by me. Let's run this. We can actually bring this, do this over here. Oh, yeah, here, let's go and add a welcome view. And this should update. Did not. Why didn't that update? Just do that, I guess. There we go. Okay. Bring that back over there. So we have our requests. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Straightforward. Alerts allow, I don't know what kind of alerts I'm going to be getting with OBS, but, oh, okay, so I do not count. So someone else was watching. Cool. No problem. I would love to know how to be able to see the chat through here, though. I don't know how delayed this is. Okay, cool. Oh, so I think that's me then. Oh, so maybe I was the only one watching. I don't know. I don't know how delayed this is. Let's go then over here, and I want to create. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, but I want to create a. Okay, cool. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of like the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one watching. But I don't know. Given that I want to have a welcome view, and then like the rest of my, I don't know how delayed this is, are going to be tabs. I want to have like a tab, and I want to create. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, but I want to create a. Okay, cool. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of like the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one watching. But I don't know. Given that I want to have a welcome view, and then like the rest of my, I don't know how delayed this is, are going to be tab view, and I want to have like a tab, and I want to create. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, but I want to create a. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of like the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but I don't know. Given that I want to have a welcome view, and then like the rest of my, I don't know how delayed this is, are going to be tab view, and then I want to have like a tab, and I want to create. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, but I want to create a. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of look at the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to have a welcome view, and then like the rest of my labels are going to be tab view, and then I'll have a history. I want to have like a tab, and also going to have a. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, but I want to create a. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of look at the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to have a welcome view, and then like the rest of my labels are going to be tab view, and then I'll have a history. I want to have like a tab, and also going to have a. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of look at the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a history. I want to have like a tab, and also going to have a. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of look at the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also going to have a. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of look at the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also going to have a. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's where you kind of look at the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also going to have a. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's kind of the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's kind of the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, and I want to create edit views and not have it be. So there's already content view, and that's kind of the container in which you put everything. Maybe I was the only one, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. I don't know if this is like the right way to do this, do you think we need edit views to have the text? So there's already as well as generally understood, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. I don't know if this is like it's useless for us right now, but do you think we need edit views to have the text? So there's already as well as what generally understood, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. I don't know if this is like it's useless for us right now, but do you think we need edit to have the text? So there's already as well as generally understood, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. I don't know if this is like it's useless for us right now, but do you think we need edit to have the text? So there's already as well as generally understood, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like the rest of my I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. Anyway, question is, like, do we need to have this right now? Do you think we need edit to have the text? So there's already as well as generally understood, but given that I want to be able to view, and then like next thing is I want the default tab view, and then I'll have a. I want to have like a tab, and also you know what we do. Anyway, question is, like, do we need to have this right now? Do you think we need edit to have the text? So there's already as Yeah, what place I guess I can but I would like to be able to do that. Next thing is once I do it, I want to think you know what we do? Anyway, question is, I guess, do we need to have this right now? Do you think we need to have better text? So there's already yeah, what place I guess I can but I would like to be able to do that. Next thing is once I do it, I want to think you know what we do? Anyway, question is, I guess, do we need to have so one thing that I did notice, do you think we need to have better text? So there's already Swift. Yeah, what place it looks I would like to be able to do that. Next thing is where's my Flutter? You're just you know what we do? Anyway, question is, I guess, so one thing that I did notice, do you think we need to have better text? So there's already Swift. Yeah, what place it looks I would like to be able to do that. Next thing is where's my Flutter? A little bit different than Swift. Anyway, question is, I guess, so one thing that I did notice, do you think we need to have better text? So there's already Swift. Yeah, what place are not as switched next where's my Flutter? A little bit different than Swift. Anyway, question is, I guess, so one thing that I did notice, do you think we need to have better text? So there's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? So there's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? There's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? There's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? There's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? There's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? There's already Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have better text? Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. Anyway, question is, so one thing that I did was do you think we need to have Swift. Yeah, what place however, it's saying are not as switched I also know where's my a little bit different. This is all we have to do. That's me. Where was that? Nope. Wrong place. Where did I find that? Oh, it's here. Okay. That's so. Where was that? Nope. Wrong place. Where did I find that? Oh, it's here. Okay. That's so. Let's try this. Navigation stack. Did that? Oh, like that. Okay, that makes sense. One place. List. Oh, it's here. And then let's say that we have. So let's try this. Navigation stack. Have a. Did that? Oh, like that. Okay, that makes sense. One place. List. Oh, it's here. And then let's say that we have. We're getting somewhere. So let's try this. Text. Navigation stack. Have a. To do that. Oh, like that. Okay, that makes sense. One list. Oh, it's here. And then we'll have a space. Let's say that we have. We're getting somewhere. So let's try this. We'll have a text. Navigation stack. Have a. And then let's go back over here and let's get. Oh, like that. What do we have for arrows? List. just space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than part. And usually that will have a, and then let's go back over here and let's get, what do we have for arrows? List. Just space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than part. And usually that will have a, and then let's go back over here and let's get, what do we have for arrows? List. I guess we'll do arrow right. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then what do we get? And the second, I guess we'll have this 2. And then let's go back over here and let's get, what do we have for arrows? List. I guess we'll do arrow right. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we'll have this 2. Not do anything. And then let's go back over here and let's get, what do we have for arrows? List. I guess we'll do arrow right. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list 2. Not do anything. And then let's go back over here and let's get, what do we have for arrows? List. I guess we'll do arrow right. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list 2. Not do anything. And then let's go back over here and let's get, toolbar, list. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list 2. Not do anything. And then let's go back over here and let's get, toolbar, list. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list 2. Not do anything. And then let's go back over here and let's get, toolbar, list. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, list. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, well, that's kind of what I want. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, well, that's kind of what I want. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, well, that's kind of what I want. This one's toolbar round. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, well, that's kind of what I want. This one's toolbar round. Interesting. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, well, that's kind of what I want. This one's toolbar round. Interesting. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird. Toolbar, well, that's kind of what I want. This one's toolbar round. Interesting. Space. Let's say that we have, we're getting somewhere. So I just want the greater than less than, and then navigation title, and the second, I guess we made a list. I definitely think it's like kind of weird because I don't really know okay, toolbar. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. It's not hard to do. I was with the straight I definitely think it's like kind of weird because I don't okay, toolbar. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. It's not hard to do. I was with the straight things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. It's not hard to do. I was with the straight things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. It's not hard to do. I was with the straight things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at. Interesting. A lot of these don't. But yeah, in any case, they all kind of make it seem as though I'm just doing this. Is that not what I did? Can you hear me now? Things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though I'm just taking that much because I don't know what a toolbar is. Well, Well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try you. I'm sorry. Is that not what I hear me now? Or things that I'm looking at online make it seem as though well, it's kind of what I did. How would I be in many cases? Oh, voice, let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this. Is that not what I usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online, you can see what is kind of person that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try using this.
Let me see what I can do.
Is that not what I
Okay.
usually do? I guess things that I'm looking at online,
Now I hear it.
what is kind of person
Yeah.
that's cool around? How would I be able to let me try
Okay.
using this.
Let me see what I can do. Can you hear anything now? So, okay. This is, yeah, my apologies. I, this is my first stream and my first time using OBS, and admittedly, I have no idea how to use it. So, one thing that I don't know, I see on the bottom here, mic aux, and I don't know which microphone that is. So, is that this? I have one here. Oh, it's this. Okay, so oh, that's really weird. Um, I'll just try and use these headphones then. Unless, is it possible to, yeah, you're right. It, man, I would love to be able to use this microphone. Um, we can come back to that. I'll figure that one out later. I need to watch like a tutorial or something on how to use OBS. I think that's what I'll have to do later. So, all right, no problem. But I appreciate you letting me know. Someone had actually talked about something being wrong with the audio, and I didn't know what they were talking about. I thought they just were saying that it was like low down, like they couldn't hear me. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense because I've been like mumbling to myself this entire time, kind of talking sort of low. Like I don't want to wake up my dogs because then they'll want to go and do activities and fun things, and I want to get stuff done. But yeah, no, I appreciate the heads up there because I did not realize that. All right, and that's kind of nice. Now we don't have to have that in the way. So it's kind of a chunky microphone. Okay, cool. Um, where were we? Oh, I was talking. Wait, so now I'm like, I don't know if I should repeat everything that I was talking about before because I don't know how much of it actually came through. But I was basically going on a rant about navigation stacks and how navigation works in what's it called? Swift UI. Just that it's not as intuitive to me as it is as navigation is in Flutter. And I remember that being a really big sticking point for me when I was deciding how to build the app that I had previously built for that was on the App Store. I ended up choosing Flutter, but I ended up choosing Flutter not just because of the navigation, because I just found Swift UI to be a bit of a pain to work with. And then it ended up being a really good choice because this phone's not charged, but it's a Pixel 7a, I think. And I ended up using that. That ended up really coming in handy, the fact that I did it in Flutter, because then none of what you said came through, unfortunately. Okay, yeah, no problem. So, um, but now that's good, good, good. So, long story short is that I had chosen to use Flutter because of my frustration with what I felt was. Uh, I thought that Swift UI, and I still kind of think this, it's very unintuitive to me. So Swift UI, my understanding is that it's a DSL, not Swift itself. It's a DSL, domain specific language written in Swift. Whereas Flutter, you're working with just simple Dart. Like that's the programming language Dart. There's no DSL, nothing like that. It's just straight up the programming language that it's written with, right? And to me, it just felt a lot more intuitive just across the board doing things in Dart and in Flutter. And so I ended up going with that. And I remember that now that we're looking here, and you can see here this navigation stack stuff, I remember looking at trying to figure out the navigation. And I remember spending, I don't know, maybe a few hours on trying to learn how to do navigation in Swift UI. And I remember saying to myself, okay, I'm going to go switch this over to Flutter and just see what I can do. And if I can do the navigation in Flutter quickly, then that's going to be, a really big deal for me, like a plus points for in the Flutter category, right? Because I was doing some comparison, and I was able to do the Flutter navigation in a matter of like 10 minutes, and it just felt a lot more like navigation in a web app, like React, for example. And I remember really appreciating that, and that being something that I, you know, really kind of gave Flutter more points for, if you will, in that comparison. And then, of course, it became a huge benefit down the line when I ended up wanting to bring the app to Android. Originally, I personally use an iPhone, and I only had an iPhone at the time, and so I really thought that the app that I was building would only be on iOS for the foreseeable future at that time, and it ended up really coming in handy because I needed to bring it to Android sooner than I thought. And having been in Flutter, it really made that like a very simple process. I was able to publish I was able to submit my app. I was able to get the app to run on an Android simulator the same day. Didn't really have any issues. And then once I had to order the Android phone online. Once I was able to get the Pixel, it just ran immediately. There was maybe a few things here and there that I had to change, but it was all within that day. And so within a week, I was able to submit it. I think it was probably less than a week, but only because of the delivery time of the Pixel device. And and I was able to get it published or at least submitted to the Google Play store in within that week. Didn't have to rebuild anything. Um, so anyway, I don't know, long kind of a rant there, but yes, I remember that was something that I really did not like about Swift UI and something that I did like about Flutter. Reason for actually, I got this question on one of my last videos. Let me see if I can find it. Toss it out there. Let's see. Comments. Comments. Oh, so I got a comment um, yesterday on the video that I put up yesterday, and they were asking why I'm using Swift UI, not Flutter. And the reason really for using Swift UI and not Flutter navigation is literally number one of the reasons I prefer Flutter. It is simpler and more straightforward in my opinion, but I'm curious to see how Swift. Yeah, well, me too. That's a thank you, Gary. Me too. I am curious as well. Um, I I I remember it being like a bit of a pain in Swift UI, and I remember like there's some really like Swift, just generally speaking, building apps for iOS and Apple platforms. Like there are some great content creators out there, and they just have some amazing stuff and tutorials and stuff like that. But and I remembered like going through them and still being like, what am I doing? Like this is just so unintuitive how this works. So 100%, I don't know that we'll be able to get to it today, but hopefully we can. Hopefully, maybe. But but yeah, like that'll be something that I think will be really cool to live stream. I'm gonna try and live stream as much of building this app as possible. Um, so, you know, building it as you can see here in Xcode, and then maybe design stuff when we get to that, and maybe marketing stuff when we get to that. Like this is a startup that I want to launch, and so I think it'd be really cool to live stream as much as possible, to just share as much as possible. So yeah, so that's that. But um, man, I just lost my train of thought. That's unfortunate. Flutter, what was I talking about? Oh, the why did I choose Flutter over SwiftUI, or why did I choose SwiftUI over Flutter? So There's two reasons. One, not being that important, which is that because I'm live streaming everything and making YouTube videos about it, and I just kind of thought, hey, it'd be like a cool thing to learn maybe. The other reason, and this is more important, is that I don't think Flutter can do what I want. So I think Flutter is really amazing if you want to build it once and never have to do it again and maybe go to different platforms. Obviously, I think that's like the big selling point with things like Flutter, even React Native as well. Um, the other thing that's great about Flutter is if you're a startup or if you're an independent developer, you can, I think, probably iterate faster, go, less resources, less cycles, trying to get stuff out there. But the other thing that's really, really amazing about Flutter, and this is something that's more on the entrepreneurship, businessy strategy side and not really talked about on the engineering side, is that if you're going to build an app that is based on network effects, then it's really important to be able to target iOS and Android. And the reason is because I don't know if everyone here is familiar with what network effects are, but essentially, network effects basically mean that the application or the product that you're building becomes more valuable as more people begin to use it. So, for example, if YouTube, like let's just take YouTube itself, just the web app or the website that is YouTube. If nobody used YouTube, the website itself would not be of any value to you because there would be no content producers, there would be no content creators, and then for the content creators, there would be no one to actually consume their content. So the app itself, the product itself of YouTube is not very useful, just the ability to watch videos or create videos if there's no one creating videos and no one to watch those videos. Kind of similar thing on, let's say, Instagram. The app itself, Instagram, is not very useful by itself if your friends are not there, or if your family isn't there, or if people that you care about following are not there. These products become valuable when other people are using them and you get to benefit from the value that you both bring together. It's like a symbiotic relationship. I don't know if it's actually the right way to put it, but just generally speaking. And so the more people that are in the network, so to speak, right, the more people that are using the app, the more valuable the app becomes. And that's really difficult to accomplish if you can't target all of the places that people can be. And so one of the great things about Flutter being that you can target both iOS and Android, right? And with that, you can also do iPads and you can do Android tablets, and actually, you can even Mac OS apps and Linux apps, and I'm pretty sure you can do Windows apps as well. Oh, you can also do web apps, which is a more like Flutter for web is a more recent. I think it's actually stable now, and it's really easy to do. Like it works surprisingly well. Although obviously some packages will have issues supporting things because the capabilities of the web are different. But the point being that like if you're going to build a network based product like I was doing, it's really important to be able to actually be wherever your users are, either iPhones or Androids. And so with Flutter, because you could target them, you stand the best chance at being able to grow your network, the number of people using the app. And so that's extremely important. However, if you're not building a network based app, which is what this is what we're doing here on this live stream, this the ultimate productivity app, as I've been calling it, is not a network based product. It's a product, excuse me, it's a product with tools for the individual person to make your day to day life, your daily life more productive. Maybe one day there will be some sort of network, social, whatever component to it. And I say that not because I plan on doing it, because I can't say for sure that it'll never happen, because never say never. But that's not really the goal right now. The goal right now is how do I make me or you watching this the most productive person ever, or that you can possibly be. And so that means I don't have to worry about network effects, and thus I can focus on making the best product possible on that platform, right? So the reason to use Swift is because I have some ideas for for some Apple Watch functionality, right? I also have some ideas for interactive widgets. Where's my phone? My phone's over there. Um, with I think iOS 17 is what brought interactive widgets to the home screen for iOS, and also I guess iPad too. Although is it iPad OS 17 as well, or did they start? at the beginning because it came out after iOS. I don't know, but um, yeah, so being able to take advantage of more platform specific things in the Apple ecosystem is I think going to be very beneficial, which is why I'm doing this using Swift and Swift UI and not Flutter, because unfortunately Flutter can't do Apple Watch apps and they can't do widgets of any kind, I don't believe, let alone interactive widgets. Let me just look this up. It's actually, I thought this was kind of interesting. Apple Watch. Um, Flutter. And by the way, that's not to say that you can't have an Apple Watch app with your Flutter app. You can. I believe you just have to do it using Swift. And so, given that you have to do it with Swift, it becomes a challenge because you have to basically learn Swift anyway. So why not just do it in Swift if you're relying on that? Um, I wanted to spell Apple Watch wrong. So wearables. What I wanted to do was show a see what that is. No, there was a where's their GitHub? Let's see. What's this? There was an issue that I remember seeing here. Um, First off, that's an interesting one. Support for Vision OS. Here, is it possible to create Watch OS apps using Flutter? Mm, add bitcode support. I think this is what they kind of needed. Apple may eventually require bitcode support for iOS. It's currently required for missions and Watch. Bespoke track. Bitcode support is also being added to Kotlin native. I don't really know that much about Kotlin. Hi, is there any progress on this feature? There was a, wait, hold on, there's a roadmap here somewhere. Roadmap, there you go. 2024, this roadmap is aspirational. Mobile, Android platforms. Change support web ecosystem we're planning on collaborating with AI frameworks, tooling, programmable languages. Is there anything on wearables? No. Features. Non-goals. There you go. This is what I was looking at. We unfortunately have had to shove our current efforts to implement hot reload on web. Oh, that's not what I was talking about. We also have no plans currently to implement code push built-in support for wearables, Apple Watch, Android, or automotive integrations. Let's see, where does this take us? Issues, here you go. A similar question has been asked about tvOS. My answer is also applicable. Substitute TV for watch. Um, this is from a year ago, a little over a year and a half ago. Um, but basically, they were saying that they don't have any plans for Apple Watch. Um, so that's that makes things difficult, right? I don't know what the deal is. This is where a thing was last published 2 years ago. Order requirements, you need to modify. Yeah, I think it makes things a little difficult if you want to be able to have certain features, um, such as a watch app or interactive widgets. So that's anyway. Circling back and kind of like closing out this thought here is that um, that's kind of why it's useful or relevant, yeah, useful to use Swift and Swift UI is if you're not building a network-based product and you are building something that will rely on more specific features within the Apple ecosystem that are not supported by Flutter, then you kind of have to look at Swift UI, which for me is the case. Um, so given that I want to have the Apple Watch app eventually, given that I want to have some interactive widgets, um, I I I don't think I know that there will also be a Mac OS app to this as well. So I want to have some stuff. I know that I'll maybe probably want to have an iPad app, but I don't know exactly what that'll be like yet. Um, and then just down the line, Vision OS is also kind of interesting. I think the Apple Vision Pro is ungodly expensive. I've not bought one. I don't really plan on buying one in its current form. But eventually you can see maybe a world in which they kind of have it be more like a pair of glasses. You can kind of see that they're trying to take the steps to that point. And I think at that point it becomes pretty interesting what you can do in terms of creating the app and stuff. So um, yeah, that's the reason for not using Flutter. Even though, yes, to Gary's point, um, navigation is really annoying in Swift UI. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to actually, you know what? We should make these things here. We should just like come up with the tab, the whatever it's called. Let's not do that. Tab views. I guess it's fine. We can put it in here for right now. Let's do settings, setting views. Let's put this in here and let's create a new one and we will call this user profile. Okay. And here, oh, kind of jumped the gun there a little bit. Wait, did I? I don't think that I did. Oh, I put this in the wrong place. That's what happened. I was like, I knew that I did this. This should have gone here. And then this here should be history and history and then call this. Is there like I'll come back to that. History. We'll come back to history. Because I want to see how to do something. I don't know how to do it. We'll come back. Settings view. Why is that not updating? That's not right. Okay, there we go. So we have this, and then I guess we can't do that then. What's next? Plan. Okay, let's do plan. And then what was the other one? Let's delete account. View, delete. Okay. All right. That's straightforward enough. Let's then maybe like, should we just see about navigation views? Deprecate it. So here's another thing that annoys me about Swift UI. Or this isn't really so much Swift UI as it is more so just, I guess, like Apple or Google, maybe, I don't know. But like, I want to look up, first off, navigation view is deprecated. And I don't, like, what replaces it in a view for prison? But if I look up, I guess I don't really want that. I guess I want Swift UI navigation. It just seems like they deprecate things a lot. Navigation. Use navigation containers to provide structure to the app's interface, enable people to easily move among the parts of your app. Okay. For example, people can go forward and backward through stacks of views using. Oh, navigation stack. Oh, I looked up the wrong thing. Okay, that's my bad. What am I? Oh, I am using a navigation stack, and I still looked up the wrong thing. View to display from a tab bar using a tab view. Okay, yeah, we're doing that. Configure navigation containers by adding view modifiers like navigation split view style to the container. I do like the modifiers. Why not Flutter? Ah, you just missed my whole rant. I gave a whole rant about Flutter like maybe 10 or 20 minutes ago. I don't know. Are you able to like Ani game? Did I pronounce that correctly? I'm really sorry if I didn't. Ani game. Um, but yeah, if you like rewind in the stream, I went on like a whole rant about why I am not using Flutter, but I did actually use it in a previous app that I built, so I do have an affinity and love for Flutter. And I wish that Flutter could be adopted by Apple as like the official way to make apps, and I think the world would just be a better place, or at least my world would be a better place. Modifiers on the views inside the container to affect the container's behavior when showing the view. For example, you can use the title view to provide a toolbar title. Oh, okay. I understand why it was there. I still don't like it, but I understand why it was like that then. So essentially, Okay, I think this has to be restructured a little bit then, is I'm understanding this correctly. Presenting views in columns. Migrating. Stacking views in one column. Let's see what this does for us. Destination, show park. What does that do? Where's that even used? Presented park. Oh, path. Why is there a path? How does that work? Park. This is going to be confusing, isn't it? All right, let's give this a shot. So, yeah, let's give this a shot. Okay, let's see what happens. We have a list. Park, park, park. Oh, I see. No, never mind. I take that back. I don't see. What? So we actually want, oh, we do want this list. What we here is for this to be a navigation, oops, navigation link. And this is a string, I think, and we'll just say user profile. Uh, destination missing destination will be user profile. Oh, oh, this is nice. I like this. See, this is pretty sweet that SwiftUI does this for you. I don't hate it as much as I did. I don't know why it's making more sense to me this time around than it did last time. What architecture are you trying to use? What do you mean by architecture? Like within the world of Swift? Or just like what do you mean by that? Oh, finally OBS says the chat rate of 1. But I don't know what that is. That like per minute? Per second? Oh, it's not per second. I know it's not per second. It would be really cool if OBS could allow you to put the chat in the app, so I don't have to have like the actual stream up. Yeah, Ani game. First, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly because I want to make sure I get that right. And secondly, let me know by architecture what exactly are you referring to. I should also probably mention that this is my first time using Swift UI. So when it comes to architecture of Swift apps, I have no idea. Right now, I'm just kind of playing around and learning it as I try to build my new app. That's kind of, I guess, where I'm at with my Swift UI journey or Swift journey. So plan here. Usually, you will try to use one architecture so that if someone needs to maintain your code, They can adapt better without an architecture. Without any architecture, you call it MVVC. Um, I yeah, I don't. Well, okay, I don't have any intention for anyone to ever take this over. Um, I guess MVC, model view controller. That's MVVC, right? So either I guess MVC probably, or yeah, I don't know that it. Yeah, I guess. Okay, I will say that one thing I think I need to probably because I don't typically build front end stuff. I'm generally in the back end. Um, and so like I remember when I like a long time ago I did front end stuff. And I remember looking into like the architecture stuff a little bit more. Um, with Flutter, it was MVC, so I guess that would make a lot of sense to go with that. But having said that, I think one of the big things I want to do is like just generally speaking, learn Swift and Swift UI and kind of figure out like how do I want to implement things and what architecture do I like for that stuff because I don't really know too much about it. So I would say that the architecture is probably not the biggest concern for me right now, which is maybe not a good way to go about it, but that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it right now. Uh, Plan, this will be plan view. Delete account view. Sorry, yeah, I mean MVC, massive, massive view controller. Massive view controller, that's funny. Yeah, I would say that I default to MVC. I don't know about others all that much, but I would probably default to MVC. Let's look that up though. Swift app architectures. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. MVVM. Yeah, I don't know about. I know what MVC is. Um, I don't. I've never. I've only ever built an iOS. I built like a game for iOS really, really long time ago. But it was like it was when I was first learning how to code. This is like I don't know 7 years ago or something. I was first learning how to code. There wasn't really any data going around. It was like a simple two-dimensional game. I'm very interested in Swift UI. I used to learn, but at that time they were still using. Yeah, so that was a really long time ago. Um, I built this game using Swift. I don't Swift UI hadn't come out yet, but I actually didn't need to use Swift UI because it was like a two-dimensional game, and from what I remember, it was something called Sprite Kit, which is like a 2D rendering engine, I guess, that Apple has. Um, and it worked well. I mean, I would say I don't know that I really understood exactly how it worked. It was like one of the first things I ever built when I was just learning. Um, but then at the first job I ever had, are you still using Storyboard? No, no, no. I'm using so Swift UI doesn't use that, is my understanding. Um, are we still using? Yeah. I mean, I think you can technically still use the storyboard stuff. Um, when I first became interested in programming, that's how it was. Like this is going back to before the iPhone came out, or around the time that the iPhone came out, like the mid 2000s, mid to late 2000s. Um, my understanding is that it you no longer use that stuff. Um, Model or controller am I supposed to use? I don't know. Yeah, I have to like look up all of this the architecture stuff because I have no idea how it should or could work in Apple stuff. This Viper, are you guys able to see that by the way? Oh, how delayed is this? Oh wait. Oh, okay. It's not that delayed. It's oh, hey Gary, good to see you again. Um, ik ben true. Is that what language is that? Is it German? Oh, I'm gonna look that up. MVV, yeah, I've heard of that. I've never heard of Viper. I just looked this up and I saw Viper for the first time here in this article. Oh, it's Dutch. Ik ben terug. Did I say that correctly? So where are you guys from? That's so cool. I have the stream open. There's like a 50-second delay between us sending a message and you respond. Oh wow, that's a long time. That's a really long. Is that typical for streams, a 50-second delay? Because that doesn't seem that live to me. Um, so are you, Gary, are you in you're in Europe then? Where about? It is Dutch. I'm from ooh, Amsterdam. That's so cool. This is really awesome. This like live stream thing, I'm kind of liking it. I think I might do this more often. Somewhere in Asia, working for a commerce company. Somewhere in Asia, that's cool too. I'm in the US. I don't know if you can tell that from my channel or if that's like listed somewhere here, but I'm from the northeastern United States. Um, yeah, architectures though, I need to learn more about that for sure. For sure. Wait, so did Apple create MVC? Because this thing that I'm looking at is referring to MVC as Apple, Apple's MVC. So I'm kind of curious if Apple actually created MVC um, themselves. I don't know. Um, but Gary, um, great news. I kind of the navigation started to make a little sense to me. I still don't love it, but it made a little making more sense now. So in our settings, what we can do now is we can navigate back and forth, and this is pretty cool actually. And this is kind of one of those things that I was sort of I think referring to earlier before no Apple was here, so I'm forced to become a full stack developer. Yeah, I'll take it without you. Yeah, well, it goes really quickly. I get into coding because of me. Oh my God. You got to be kidding me. It, what? So you've been watching since the Code the Web days? What's IIRC? I feel very. Basically, MVC means logic and routing are all in one file. Oh, okay, I see. What's IRRC? Oh, if I remember correctly. Okay, got it. That's you're going back like many years to the Code the Web days. Like, I mean, certainly at least five, no, it's maybe 10 years. So this channel was created, it was created in, I want to say 2009 maybe or 2010. Um, I don't, how would I even be able to tell that? Oh, 2009. Joined August 29th, 2009. And it was called Code the Web. And it was me and some other guy named Daniel Golden, who's actually he makes YouTube videos, but they're unrelated to coding now. And and yeah, we was actually a little bit more of a backstory than that, but we started making videos about web development and like web design and stuff. So that's really cool that you were watching since then. I appreciate that. That's like really awesome. Um, yeah, it goes back ages ago. So I was surprised to see your channel pop up again last week. Oh, yeah, because um, I don't know. I wanted it to be more like, yeah, yeah, a really long time ago. I wanted the channel to be more I don't know, like I wanted it to have more like of my personality, I guess. And I kind of code the web. I don't know. It was like very specific, but I don't necessarily do web development anymore, or like only web development, you know. So I kind of figured it'd be cool to just do a different name. But you know what's interesting actually about the channel as well, and this is something that I've kind of noticed in going back and looking at the analytics, is that like because I started it, it was started so long ago that there were different things that I would make videos on over those years. So it's been wait, it's 15 years old. Wow, that's a long time. So the channel is almost 15 years old, and so over those 15 years, um, I made videos on, you know, basic like PHP, like a really long time ago. I made videos on like web design, made videos on, I have one video on this thing called Engine X, and I never made any other videos on that. And the channel got 500 subscribers because of that video. And then there were videos on Go, there were videos on Flutter, there were like all kinds of stuff, right? And so what's interesting is that it seems to be that people subscribe to the channel for a bunch of different reasons. And so I wanted to kind of try and like make that more consolidated and more like, I guess, more focused. Because I think it's probably kind of a bad experience when someone subscribes for Engine X, but then I never make another Engine X video. I kind of feel bad about that. So I just, you know, I wanted to kind of focus it in a little bit more. But yeah, that's really cool that they've been watching for that long, and actually even cooler that you got into coding because of this channel. Like that's, I don't know, you made my day. Like that's one of the coolest things ever, I think. It's really cool. So yeah. Um, but yeah, let's kind of get back into this like navigation stack thing here. So what I kind of figured out is, and I still don't even know if I did this correctly, but what I kind of figured out from looking at the Apple documentation, which I sometimes like and sometimes don't like, but you create a navigation stack, and I guess that's the navigation just for that portion forward into the app, if that makes sense. So like this would have nothing to do with a navigation stack in a previous screen that you might navigate to this from, if that makes sense. But what's cool is that just adding this bit of code, so this was 5 lines, six, no, that's not true. It was 6 lines, and then already we're able to navigate here, which I think is super cool, right? Um, I think it's really awesome that you can do that so easily. In Flutter, you it's a little bit more involved in Flutter to be able to do that. It's very rich. Yeah, they do have a lot of the money signs, that's for sure. That's like one of the only things I remember about PHP. That's funny. Yeah. I hope they're rich. I hope so. Um, yeah, okay. So, and of course there's like other, and this is another thing too that's really weird about SwiftUI is that like there's other ways that you can do this. So like you could I have the navigation or the destination for each one individually, but if you had a for loop that you were going through, you could loop through inside of your list each, you know, each of the I'll just show you the documentation, actually that'll be easier. You could loop through the list, right? And then, well, that's what I think this is doing actually. Maybe that's not what it's doing. And then would you have a navigation stack to every page, e.g. if user profile has other pages, you would. That's what I understand. Yes, Gary. That's my understanding here is that you would have potentially, not automatically, but you could potentially have a navigation stack in every page if you needed to do more navigation from there. Yes, that's my understanding. So I think that makes a little bit more sense. And you can also, I guess, loop through some stuff here, which I think is what's happening right now. So yeah, it's definitely starting to make a little bit more sense. I don't know which one I like better, the Flutter way or the Swift UI way. It's probably a little bit too early to tell as far as Swift UI goes. Probably want to get some more playing time with it. But I will say at the very least that it is easy to implement based on what we've seen so far. Um, so I guess at the very least that's cool. Now, one thing that Well, I don't know if you have to have a list here. Like, I find it weird that you have a list. Like, the navigation stack, the list is just a UI component that makes it look a certain way, as my understanding. So, like, if we comment this out and comment that out, what do we then get? Oh, it does still work. It just doesn't look as nice. Oh, okay. Understood. And another thing that I don't like is that this navigation title is here. To me, the navigation title is not specific to the list, it's specific to the navigation stack, right? So that feels a little weird to me. Like, or what if you had something else? I guess maybe you'd want to have like a V stack in here. I think the Flutterway is easier than if that case. It's kind of different. Like the Flutterway you can have you can put all of your navigation in one place. Like that's what I always did. So I would have like a configuration file and I would put all of my routes in the configuration file. And so that was pretty easy. And I thought that that was straightforward and it made a lot of sense. And it also felt to me very reminiscent of what you would potentially do in like React or something like that. Whereas this seems to be a little bit more spread out, like each view is maybe more self-contained. Um, I think that I would agree with you that I prefer the Flutter way, but I think just what I'm most concerned about is just making sure that I'm able to understand um, the Swift UI way such that I can actually, make something useful. You know what I mean? Because if you can't understand, if you can't make anything useful, it doesn't matter how easy in theory it is, it's not really going to be very useful for you. Um, but yeah, okay, cool. So we got navigation down, sort of. Well, in this case, we have it down. Let's. One thing that I am kind of curious about is in my design. Actually, I don't think I'm curious about this. I think I was reading a book yesterday or the other day or something, and I think they actually did this, so this should be kind of straightforward. So what I have here is on the home screen here, uh, here on the home screen, I have these things here, and instead of navigating somewhere, what I want to do is I want to have a bottom, like a sheet come up. In Flutter, you would call this a bottom sheet, and this is like it's pretty straightforward. I actually think that this is a bit easier to work with in Swift UI, interestingly enough. Uh, Let me go back here. Swift sheet. Let's see. Is what is it supposed to? Oh, doesn't say it's gonna read. Okay. Whoa, I don't like that. Okay, so what we can do. Wait, what? Wait a minute, I'm so confused. If I understand this correctly, item selected, where's selected, item list. Can we like, what is this supposed to be? Can I just put like an H stack in there? Can I, is that, no, you know what, here. Oh, we can't do that. Okay, I was just kidding. Identifiable. Okay. Presented content. Oh, that's because I don't want this. Is presented. Let's do show sheet. That's going to error out. We'll come back to that. Content. I have two contents here. Content will be just a text. Just say hey. Okay, now this show sheet. We're going to put a variable up here. And I think, whoops, oh, I don't want this. Is presented. Why does that not work? Not in scope. What? It has to be in here? Oh, is it? Does it not? Should it not be this? Cannot convert bool to expected type binding bool. Oh, does it need to be like a state or a state property? Yeah, I think it does. So state, whoops, private var. Uh, what? Oh, it's an at symbol. Oh, that's my bad. Okay, there we go. And we do want this here. We want that like there. And then I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but if we go to settings view, copy one of these, say to-do list item 1. Did not go where, no, well that makes sense because we have this here. That doesn't look right. So here's what we can do. We can make this a button. That's fine. And say, is there an action property? We can do this, I think. And then we'll say show sheet.toggle. How's that go? Ah, there you go. That worked pretty well. So that's, yeah, so you can do that. But I want to get a different arrow here because I want this to match, I want it to match this here, right? Um, let's see. Oh, I think otherwise easier than, yeah, sorry. You were mentioning three reasons you were using Switch UI. You were going to into the third point, which has something to do with network. If I understand correctly, you were building this while so wouldn't that slow you? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, for sure. Gary, so hopefully you're still here. Um, so in terms of the network, so it wasn't network requests, it was network effects. So I don't know how much you heard about the network effects. Did you get that before? Tata, Tata, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hey, how's it going? Welcome. Happy you're here. Hopefully you're still here. Okay, cool. So basically, a network effect is when the product that you're using is more valuable as the number of people using the product increases. So an example of this is YouTube, actually. I did not get the network effect thing you mentioned. Okay, yeah. An example of this would be YouTube because if like YouTube is a great website, it looks good, it works well, you can do a lot of cool things on it. But if there was no one making videos and there was no one to watch those videos, then YouTube, just the website itself, wouldn't be worth anything. It becomes worth something when people are there to watch it, and the more people that are there, so the more content creators there are, the more content consumers there are, the more valuable YouTube becomes as a platform. And it's a similar thing with with another app such as Instagram or Facebook or a marketplace like Amazon. The website itself and all the tools and the functionality, like it doesn't do a ton for you, just the fact that it exists. It becomes valuable when your friends, family, or other people that you're interested in following on Instagram are posting pictures and you post pictures and you can follow each other. The content is what matters, not just the fact that the app exists. On Amazon, if there was no one to sell any products or if there were no products that you wanted, then it wouldn't be worth anything, just the fact that the website exists, right? Does that make sense? Um, and so when it comes to Flutter, part of the beauty for Flutter is that you can you can target both iOS and Android without having to rebuild the app after having built it for one of those platforms. So if I had built it with Swift UI and Swift and I wanted to go to Android, I would have had to go and rebuild the entire app in Kotlin, right? But all that I had to do because I use Flutter was buy this Google Pixel, whatever it is, and then go and kind of just rebuild the app for Android. And it worked really, really well. And this is, I think, part of the beauty for Flutter is that if you're building a product, excuse me, if you're building a product or an app that is going to be working off of network effects, which I was at the time, still am, but was at the time, then it makes sense to use, it makes more sense to use something like Flutter because if your target market is using not just iOS but also Android, as mine was, then you can really easily target and accommodate both of those people, both of those markets, those user segments, without having to rebuild the app. So it becomes really, really valuable where something like Flutter can actually build the app. You can write it once, build it for anything, right? However, this app in particular is I don't have any plans on having it be based on network effects. Um, so it becomes less valuable to me. Like Flutter's value proposition of being able to build for both platforms becomes less valuable to me because there are plenty of iOS users, plenty of Apple users that I could sell this to and that I could make a decent amount of money and be able to, financial security and all that stuff, right? So like that's fine. I don't need the Android users, even though I would love to have them. I don't really need them in the same way that you do if you're building a network effect based product. Not only that, but Flutter, last time I checked, and there was an issue on GitHub that someone submitted requesting this. Flutter, I don't believe can build Apple Watch apps. And I do have an idea for how to incorporate an Apple Watch app into this iPhone app. Um, I also think that there is going to be some cool stuff. Yeah, right. I also think there's some cool stuff that could be done with interactive widgets, which I think are a new thing for iOS 17. We'll see what they do in iOS 18. And so, because of not needing network effects and wanting to take advantage of more native things within the Apple ecosystem, I think it makes sense to go with Swift UI. Would I be able to build it if faster if I was using Flutter? 1000%. Yeah, I might even have less of a headache because Swift UI is kind of annoying sometimes. Um, but you know, I want to take advantage of those things like the Apple Watch and interactive widgets. So that's kind of the thought process there. Um, Now, as far as this bottom sheet goes, we did get it to work. Um, I I guess we don't I guess we don't need or want a navigation stack here though. I guess we want a V stack, so we're not. I don't think we're going to be navigating anywhere on this page. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's annoying. You can't. So stupid. Wait. So I need to have a navigation stack just so that I can have home here. I guess I could put that in myself, but I think home, the navigation stack is what gives you a navigation toolbar, which I also want to have a button in that toolbar. All right, so that's annoying. That's kind of annoying. Um, let's go and find a better arrow for this. I don't know what it would be called. Oh, arrows. There's like a whole section for it. That's great. Chevron. That's what it's called. Chevron right. Let's do that. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then the other thing I want to do as well, I want to extract this out. I want to have a new view and we don't have to put it in there. I want to have I'm going to make a folder called components, although I don't really think that's what it should technically be called, but components. There you go. I think that's right. And then in here, we'll create a new file and we'll call this to do list item spy to do list item view. Okay, cool. Okay. Also, this doesn't work. Supposedly, size that fits is supposed to shrink down the preview, but that doesn't do what it's supposed to. I don't think so, unless I'm understanding it incorrectly. The book that I read was sort of good, sort of not good. So, but let's put this. Let's do call this label. Be a string, and yeah, that's all we need right now. now here we'll do, sorry, to do, now what I want to do is I want to do these a few more times. All right, awesome. Cool. Now, yeah, of course, for sure. Anything else, just let me know. I'll try and explain, whatever I can. Yeah, okay. See. Oh, it's almost 3 hours. Okay. Okay. Um, we have this. What would be cool is if we had some kind of a store. Um, and I wonder if there's a way to have, like, I wonder if you can create like an interface. How would we do that? That's more of a Swift thing. Um, hmm. I'll tell you what. Here's what maybe we should do first is we should create this inside of here. It will be a, well, actually I want this to be out here. Yeah, so inside here we're gonna have a to do item detail view. Let's go see what forms look like. How would we go about doing a form? Swift UI form section. All right, let's go do this. Let's go have a form. And this will be a section. I don't actually know what section really gets us, so we can find out. Header, text, edit, to do, edit, to do. Oh, wait a minute. So does this mean that I could do list? Should this be a section instead? Nope, did not work. Oh, right then. Take that back. Let's go here. Let's do, well, what if I don't want to toggle? I want to, I just, oh, interesting. Wait, what? No, this should have worked this year. Section. This should have actually worked, I think. This should be header. Nope. Header text to-dos. Why didn't that work? Does it only work within a form? All right, fine. We'll come back to that. It's not that important right now. What I would like to know how to do is different. I want to know like creating a form, hacking with Swift. Let's try this. Creating a form. Many apps require users. You know what? I want to try. In one of my projects, I use ChatGPT as my consultant to help understand how to do certain things in Flutter. I'm using ChatGPT. You know what? Actually, I have a GitHub Copilot, and that's a really interesting question. Um, GitHub Copilot Xcode. I so I have not Google. I have GitHub Copilot. I have it installed in VS Code, and it's pretty cool. I actually made some videos like a couple weeks ago trying it out. Um, but I've yet to really use it in a project. I think for me, just like if something's not part of my workflow, it's not that I don't want to use it, I just simply forget to use it. So that was something that I actually have kind of on my mind that I want to try more of. I don't know how you would go about doing it in Xcode, um, but for like I'm working on this another thing. It's a Next.js app, and so for that, I do want to try using it and see how it goes. Give me. I want to try working. I want to try figuring out this audio thing because I would like to be able to use not these headphones. So give me one sec.
Can you still hear me? If I take these off, can you guys still hear me? Okay. Um, Not these headphones. So give me one sec. Wait, there's no like weird noise, right? It's like fine now. Fine now. I hope it's okay. Okay. Um, Creating a form. It's like creating forms. Oh, text field. That sounds reasonable. So we will do a text, but I guess really we don't even need this. We don't even need this section here. At least not right now because we don't have very much else. Text field. We'll say name. Oops. Do I don't know. We can just do first name. What's the problem here? Cannot convert value to binding. Oh, I see. So I think what we have to do then is binding. How does this work again? Binding first name. I think it's var. No, sorry. I actually have no idea. Hold that thought. Alright. Swift UI. Binding. Just need to see an example. Binding var. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay. Do last name maybe. Email. I guess that can be it for right now. Last name, email, whoops, email. Missing parameters. I thought binding, you didn't need to pass stuff in. I thought you could just kind of have it. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Last name. Garrett, apple.com. Do, oops. Do I not need that? Cannot fill. Cannot find. What? Or does it have to be okay, now I'm starting to see how this works. Or I'm using non-local scope. So is that what we want? Oh. Okay, cool. Result of view list initializer are not used. I don't know. What do I do about that? Okay, no weird noise. Cool, sounds good. Is this still a problem? It's still a problem. Okay. How do I do this? Unused, isn't it? Isn't it used though? Has anyone ever used Swift data? I think that's a newer thing that Apple came out with. I was kind of curious about that, how that works. Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard of it like I I think there's this other thing called core data. Um, I don't know how it compares. It sounds like it's maybe a newer thing that's supposed to eventually replace core data, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I've heard core data is like kind of has a high learning curve, um, but I don't know. I don't know if one is like better than the other necessarily. All right, I don't really know what to do about this. Am I maybe not using these things correctly? I feel like that's also a possibility. Text, where's text come from? Well, what does that mean that it's unused? Isn't the fact that it's like, isn't it very much so being used? Oh, ambiguous use of init. Oh, that's actually helpful. Ambiguous use of init traits body. Okay, well, what does that mean? Wait, was this? Getting ambiguous. Oh, that's what I want. I think. Wait. Wait, what? That was it? Oh, that could have been so, like, that was awful. Oh my god. That's so stupid. Oh, jeez. Are you kidding me? All right, so what happened was we figured it out, but let's look at why this happened. So essentially, what I had was this here, and I had this inside of my preview, right? And this is a macro. I don't really know much about Swift macros, so that'll be something that I have to kind of put on the to-do list of things to learn. And I was getting this error result of to-do list detail view initializer is unused. And that's like what does that mean? Like I mean I understand what the words mean, but in terms of this, like it's not a very helpful error in my opinion because as far as I can tell, I am using it. I have it there, right? Nothing changed really. So I find this, they posted the same, well actually let's back up a second. What I did was I went over to, well there was an error here that like unfolded some stuff. Um, it unfolded some stuff in my code that showed me uh, a more concrete error, which ended up being, and I copied it here, Swift UI ambiguous use of init. Okay, so I found this one answer, seemed pretty consistent with what I had because it's inside of the preview. Come down here a little bit, and it says the preview macro only supports a single view in its body. So in your specific example, the failure is due to the let, and that kind of is like what I was doing because I had this preview here and I had a let, well it wasn't a let, but I had a state that I was creating. And then I was also doing this. It's kind of like if you've ever used React, like in your return in a component, you need to wrap it in like either a div or like a self-terminating empty tags, like the just greater than less than. So it kind of felt like that. So the solution was to, in this case, they wrapped it in a Z stack. I went and wrapped it in a V stack. I don't know if one is better than the other in this case, but I wrapped it in a V stack and the problem went away. So not, in my opinion, not a very good error message, I think. But having said that, you know, we got it sorted out and now we have this thing here. And I think what we'll want to do is then also maybe create, this is to do this item detail view. We're going to put this inside of a here. So when this gets spun up, it's going to be to-do list item detail view. And this will be Garrett just for right now. We'll just have it be me. Oops. Love is Garrett at gmail.com. Which apparently none of these work because they need to be in the state. How would we do that? We would have a chosen thing, a chosen state. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna, to make this easy on us for right now, we're just gonna have first name will be Garrett. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to copy this from over here just to make it easier on us right now. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And then we can come back and make it correct later on. Whoops. And then down here, do first name, whoops, last name, email. Okay, great. Let's preview this. Now, when we click on one of these, it'll bring us our stack, not our stack, it'll bring us our bottom sheet or our sheet, whatever it's called. Okay, pretty cool. Now let's go and look at, I would really like to have this be designed like as close to what Apple does as possible. One thing that I've also found interesting about Swift UI and Flutter in comparison is that I think Flutter does a better job in, well, I like Flutter's components better. And the reason that I like them better is because if we go over to flutter.dev, should be tomorrow. Okay. If we go over to flutter.dev, for any screen, I love this. Build for any screen, and you can't build for iWatch or for Apple Watch. Like, I would just love to use Flutter so much. Flutter is such a beautiful thing. That, you know what, if they surprise me and come out and go and do like Apple Watch, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna be so pissed if they do that, because then I like, what am I gonna do? Go and rebuild everything for Flutter? That's like also part of the problem is you have all these like competing things, and they all make these promises, and it's really like once you commit to a certain ecosystem, you're really tied into it. And if another ecosystem comes out with something that's better, you're kind of screwed, and that's honestly, it's a bit annoying. Um, so I think Swift UI, from what I'm seeing, is like similar to how Flutter is. It like everything's a widget in Flutter. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe Swift UI isn't like that. Swift UI, they just call their widgets views, and but I don't know. I don't know if everything's a view in the same way that everything's a widget. Um, but at any rate, what I wanted to show, I love Flutter, but news of Flutter being fired at Google. Oh yeah. That too, 1,000%. I did hear about that. Although, look, like here, look at all these companies that use Flutter. Now, in what way do they use Flutter? I don't know. Like it says ByteDance uses Flutter, but is ByteDance using Flutter for some internal tool, or did they use it to build TikTok? Because those are two really different things, right? If they built it to use TikTok, like that is incredible and a really amazing thing for Flutter. Um, but if they used it to build some internal tool or an app that's maybe a lot smaller and only used in a certain region of the world, not that it's a bad thing, but um, you know, TikTok being built in Flutter would really add a lot to the support that is then going to be there for Flutter. But these are a lot of really big companies that use Flutter. Um, Man, Flutter's just like an amazing thing. I am sad that I can't use it. Hopefully, I don't know how obvious that is. It probably shows a lot that I'm sad that I can't use it. 2024 roadmap. Can we just look at that for a second? I mean, community. 2024 road. Oh, I have to click on this. 2024 roadmap probably goes to GitHub. Core framework and engine. We continue to focus on the quality and performance of Impeller. We plan on completing the iOS migration to open environment. Removing the skate back on iOS and Android. We expect we'll support Vulkan and your turn. Okay. The core framework we expect to complete the effort to fully support material 3. I didn't realize it wasn't already done. We're also investigating options to generalize the core framework to bring for adaptation needs to meet on Apple devices such as app bars and tab bars. So it looks like they're like thinking about it. It's just based on expectations on Apple devices such as app bars and tab bars. I don't know what that means exactly. App bars and tab bars. Like my guess is that they're talking about on the MacBook Pros how they had an app bar, but the most recent version of Apple products don't have that app. Oh no no no. Oh, is that different? An app bar is the app bar like up here where you have like your all this stuff? Maybe that's what they're talking about. Desktop mobile platforms assess we're still planning them to rapid and export for macOS and Windows on Linux. Our focus will be Dart and ecosystem. We're planning on collaborative with AI for AI power. Okay. We can AI programming language. Okay, so yeah, nothing about like wearables or anything like that. But anyway, what I wanted to show here wasn't that. That was just a bit of a tangent since I love Flutter. But what I wanted to show in Flutter was if you come down to something, where is it? Where do they have all their widgets? Resources? Oh, is it under a reference? No. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Oh, widget index. That's what I wanted. How do you spell Cupertino? Yeah. So like looking at all of these first off, I like that there is a like style that comes along with a widget. Like Apple doesn't seem to have well, I guess they do. Like there's definitely style that was added without us doing anything. But in terms of like unless maybe I just don't know that it exists cuz I don't know it well enough. But from what I can see, like creating a button doesn't automatically like common buttons, right? You come in here, filled button. Let's get a filled button. I just looked it up. ByteDance builds their other apps with Flutter, but TikTok itself, yeah, is not built with Flutter. Yeah. I mean, not to say that that's like a terrible thing for Flutter, just like I think in terms of the support for Flutter that exists, I think it would be much greater if ByteDance used Flutter for TikTok versus just other smaller apps. Because TikTok, like, if they built TikTok in Flutter, like that would be such a big effort to move it away from Flutter if Flutter was no longer supported by Google. And I just think that that would be like a major win for Flutter. But what I wanted to say was that like in Flutter, these buttons, you just, you toss in a button. What is this called? This was a filled button. You toss in this filled button right here and you get one of these filled buttons. Whereas for Apple, I think there's some extra stuff that you have to do in order to get a button that looks like an Apple button, I think. Um, so anyway, I don't know. Do with that what you will, but man, I just love Flutter. I guess that's really the gist. I just love Flutter. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get I want to get like a save. I want to get like an X button, a save button, and then I want to get. I wanted to look up like what do Apple Sheets look like? Apple Sheets view Swift UI Sheets. No, I know that. I want the. Design. I want the design. Does this sheets? Oh, this is cool. modality, action sheets. What is an action sheet? Oh, hmm. So I maybe whoops. No, not what I wanted. Maybe this will be somewhere that we spend more of our time now too. Apple has this like human interface guidelines, and I guess it just talks about general principles when designing stuff, but also talks about how Apple does it. It seems. Um, so that's pretty cool, I think. Uh, you said this app is not meant to be based on action strictly. So yeah, to your point, I could 100% do that, but I want to create an Apple Watch app as a part of this, and I also want to have interactive widgets on the home screen as a part of this. And so with those two things, with those two considerations, my understanding is that I would need to learn Swift UI and Swift in order to do those things. And I don't want to support two things. I want to support one thing. So that's kind of where that comes into play is like, I love Flutter and I really wish I could use it, but I don't want to be in a position where I'm having to support a Flutter app and then having to support and Swift UI stuff. Um, I want to limit it to one thing, given that I don't care about network effects. Yeah. Nothing's perfect, you know. But I was thinking, how cool would this be? So, and I'm kind of waiting to do this because I don't know what like apparently WWDC 2024, like Apple's going to announce a lot of AI stuff for iOS 18 or something like that. But I'm kind of like waiting to see what they do because I also heard that they were trying to do stuff like I think I just read an article that like they're wrapping up some licensing deal with OpenAI to use ChatGPT. But I was kind of thinking like, all right, everyone complains that Siri sucks, and they complain that it sucks because it does. It's like not very good. And then everyone complains about Google because it's slow. I have Google Home and it sucks. It can do everything, but it's so slow. And then there's Alexa, which is like fast, but I don't know that it can integrate with it. At least for me, like the things that I've bought, it like can't really integrate with everything. Um, but I was kind of thinking like, you want to like I know a lot of people they want to use Siri or they want to use like a different AI assistant on their phones. And it's hard to do because Apple they have it like locked down. But what you can do on the Apple Watch is let me see. What you can do on the Apple Watch is you can have like is that showing? You can have these complications down here. And so you can tap on one, like I have toggle track, so you can tap on it and it'll go and not work. That's not what I thought was going to happen. You can tap on it and it'll bring you to that app, right? Um, so what I was kind of thinking is like I could make as maybe as a part of this because like part of productivity is to me, you could use like an AI assistant in the ultimate productivity app isn't just a to-do list. There could be like an AI assistant component to it too. And so maybe I could go and build out some stuff using things like ChatGPT or some intent based like intent recognition stuff, and I could build maybe a better AI assistant that could be a part of this. And so for that, I think it'd be really cool if, somehow it was incorporated into the iPhone so that you didn't have to go into another app. So whether that be like a widget that's on the home screen, or I know there's also widgets on the lock screen. I don't know if you can do that. Or I know some iPhones now have like an action button. And I think I saw a video of Marquez Brownlee that said that you can just make the action button open any app that you want. So in theory, it could open up this app that I'm building, right? And then you could use the assistant, or you could also have you could have here, I could have like a complication, go in, you get there, and then you just hold it down, and then you can speak to it or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking as far as like why an Apple Watch app or like the widgets would be really cool. Um, I don't think I could do that in Flutter is kind of the problem. So yeah. You were saying, did you see the Chat GPT 4 demo, that's I think that's what Siri will end up with this Apple. And yeah, I don't think I did. Did I? I don't think I did. So I've used what's it called? Microsoft has their own app. I think it's actually also called Copilot, interestingly enough. And I think it uses ChatGPT under the hood. And so you can use ChatGPT 4 with it or just ChatGPT 3. And I don't remember if I tried the ChatGPT 4. Is that what you're talking about? Or was there a different demo that you were talking about? Because I know that like a couple of them. Isn't like the big thing with ChatGPT 4 that it's more up to date because the data that they trained it on is newer, and then also I think they've incorporated like some like image generation stuff or something, right? Oh, it came out yesterday. Oh, the Dash O is something different. Oh, wait, no, I didn't see that. Hold on, let me look it up. Chat GPT 4.0. Oh, 2 days ago. Index. Let's see. Yeah, we're announcing ChatGPT 4. Let me bring it over here. Actually, we can just put it here. Flagship model that can reason across. Oh wow. Audio, vision, and text in real time. Yeah, we're all gonna lose our jobs to this thing. Has safety built in by design across modalities, techniques, filtering, training. Now let's see what this is.
What's up with that ceiling, though? Are you in a cool industrial style office or something? Well, can you take a guess at what I might be doing based on what I'm showing you here?
Actually, I don't know if I can have this on here for copyright reasons, so I'm gonna move this
It
off.
looks like you're in some kind of recording or production setup with those lights, tripods, and possibly a mic. It seems like you might be gearing up to shoot a video or maybe even a live stream. Yeah. In fact, we've got a new announcement to make. That's exciting. Announcements are always a big deal. Judging by the setup, it looks like it's going to be quite the professional production. Is this announcement related to OpenAI, perhaps? It is.
That's pretty cool. It does sound like Jarvis. That's really cool. O stands for Omni. I don't know what the significance of the word Omni is, but in that article that I just had up, it said O for Omni. Not sure what it is though. You should watch the videos. It does sound a lot like Jarvis. So yeah, I don't know. I guess do they have do they have an API open AI API text to speech? Do they have that? Oh, they do. The audio API.
The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. This simple fact has been observed by humans for thousands of years.
That sounds pretty accurate. So I wonder, text to speech. Like, what's the pricing? Oh, speech to text. That's not what I want. Oh, so it's faster, and so GPT 4.0 is faster and cheaper, supposedly, than GPT 4. Oh, it is cheaper. Is it? Yeah, it is. Oh, look at this. Assistance API. The API makes it easy for developers to build AI assistants in their applications. So I'm probably not the only one working on this, but I still think it's a cool project. Other models. Audio models. Whisper can transcribe speech into text and translate any languages to English. And then there's the text to speech, which is $15 per 1 million characters. I don't know how long a million characters is in terms of like talking. It sounds like it'd be a lot. But yeah. I know that Apple also does offer some of these things. They have frameworks for free that you can use, which is pretty sweet. I think. And I think it makes a lot more helpful. But um, I don't know how good they are relative to OpenAI because OpenAI seems to be really good at all this stuff. Okay, let's see if we can get this going here. Also, how long have we been going? Oh, we've been going for a really long time. Let's see if we can try this, or at least maybe let's like look at this sheets thing, um, and then I might end the stream there because it's been 3 hours I think so far. 2 hours. I'm pretty sure it's been like 3 hours or something like that. So I might end it there, and then we can pick it up tomorrow, I think. But yeah, let's just go through this really quick and see. So a sheet helps people perform a scoped task. Yep, that makes sense. A sheet is a modal presented providing a target experience that prevents people from interacting with the parent view until they dismiss the sheet. Okay. A modal sheet is requesting specific information from people representing a task they can complete before returning to the parent view. For example, a sheet might let people supply information needed to complete actions. Alright, cool. Yeah, really what I want is best practice, use a sheet to present simple content or tasks. I think this makes sense for us to be able to actually do something with. Really what I want is for this to just kind of look the way that Apple has it look. So let's go ahead and create a vertical stack I do not like Xcode's keyboard shortcuts, key bindings. And then we'll go and do, what do I want? I want a horizontal stack, H stack. And here we're gonna say text. Wait, we messed this up. Hold on. Your profile. I don't know why I made these first name, last name, email. That made no sense to do because this should be stuff for like a to-do list item. So we'll just say edit to do. I don't know technically the correct way of saying to do, but and then we'll have a. I think we can just do an image actually. I think this can be like on tap gesture, whoops, and then we'll have show sheet toggle. Actually, we probably just want this to be false, except that we want to spell false correctly. Stop, relax. My dog thinks he's a guard dog. Indices map device. What about that? Probably just want X actually. X. We'll do this one here. Okay. Well, technically it's what we wanted, but what we also want is, I think we want a spacer. And then yeah, we want a spacer. How's that look? Better. And then we'll do padding. Let's do that. Better. Does that kind of look like we have over here? Let's also make this a little bit bigger. Do font. Heading, how about that? Better, I think. I mean, it did do what we wanted to. It's ugly, but what do they use? They use title? Nope, they do not use title. At least not that title. How about title 2? Could be, or it could be title 3. I think it's title 3. And then we'll make this a little bit bigger. That's not the same thing. What do they use for theirs? X circle. Close. How about close? There you go. Oh, wait. This is what I want right here. Yeah, that's way better. Okay. So we have that, and then let's make this bigger. So I think we can do, I think actually font is how this, yeah, that's how that works. So let's do 3. Let's see how that ends up. That's not bad. Not great, but it's not bad. And then what color is this here? Because they're obviously not the same thing. let's add in a how do you foreground color? Like, what does that give me? Oh, that's not what I thought it was gonna be. How do I get the background color? How do I do that? Swift UI. Swift UI H stack background color. Oh, Z stack, interesting. Okay, so we will. Oh, there's a background color one. So oh, sorry, just background. And then color gray. How does that go? No, that's not what we wanted. What we wanted was probably for this to be here. Let's try that. Yeah, except that that's too dark. Primary, what's the primary color? Nope, that's not what we want. How do I do that? What color is this? Like what? I don't know how to get that. We can just do that for right now. What color is this? Apple. Swift UI view default color. Oh, really? By the way, according to your project, did you make the Figma designs yourself? Did you create them? I mean, I put them together myself. Wait, okay, so in order. I did not know that China's version of Flutter, um, sorry, I didn't say that correctly. I did not know that China's version of TikTok was created in Flutter. That's really, really cool. I've also heard that China's version of TikTok isn't, um, it doesn't show videos like it does here in the US or maybe other parts of the world. It shows them more like educational stuff. Um, I don't know if that's true though. And then, but that is really cool that it's built with Flutter. That's really, really cool. So I wonder actually if China's version of TikTok is built with Flutter, I wonder why TikTok itself is not built with Flutter. That's a curious question, I think. And then regarding the designs, so these here, I did not really build them myself. I mean, I used Figma, but what I did was Apple Figma. Apple, I guess, I don't know how recent this is, but they have a library of all of their designs and components. So if you come here to iOS 17, open in Figma, you can then use everything. They have the components here. And they have a lot of great stuff. I mean, they have everything pretty much. And so I think what I actually did was I went to templates and I came down here. That's really far zoomed in. I came over here and I actually just like copied and pasted them and then edited some stuff just for my own needs. So yeah, but they have a lot. They have, I guess each of their major platforms have it. So like Siri, iOS, TipKit, which I thought was kind of interesting. TipKit's actually really cool. I thought it was something else, but it's pretty cool they have that. Yeah, so that's how I took this stuff and then like put it together into like what I wanted it to be. But I got everything from here, which is pretty awesome that they have this because it really saved me a ton of time, which was awesome. really, really helpful. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. I do remember Musically. I never used Musically, but um, I do remember hearing about it, and I remember it kind of. I actually, if do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? He's like a marketing social media guy. He has like a marketing agency in New York City, and I used to watch his videos all the time. And I remember him talking about Musically. He was saying that like every month he goes on and just downloads all the new social media apps on the App Store so that he can kind of stay up to date with what's going on. And I remember him saying talking about Musically like in the I guess it was the late 2010s, mid to late 2010s, I guess. But I remember him talking about that. So that makes sense that they just would have continued on instead of rebuilding it. So yeah, that's cool. It makes a lot of sense. So it looks like this color here is UI color dot. Let's see, what is system? That doesn't. Oh, oh, okay. So I go like this. Now is that how this works? I don't think that's doing anything. Secondary system background. Ah, there we go. That's what I wanted. So that doesn't look perfect, but it doesn't look half bad, I don't think. I'll try and see if I can play around with this and maybe get it to look a little bit better. Maybe, how about, is there a foreground color, uh, color dot gray maybe? How about that? That looks better, I think. I wouldn't say it's perfect really, but I also don't know why this is like so far pushed down. Do I have a padding on there somewhere? Oh, I have it here. Let's see. What does that give me? What does that do? Nope. That was not it. Okay. I don't have padding there. That's interesting. All right. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out. But I think this is pretty good for right now. It looks like it's kind of doing what we need it to do. So let's go back to main view here. Gary Vee was a big inspiration. Yeah. No, Gary Vee is pretty awesome. I actually have a video up that I want to watch of his. I think it came out like the other day. Oh, it came out 18 hours ago. Given that I'm like getting back into YouTube and stuff, it was how to win at social media, which I think I need the help for. I actually studied advertising in college, and like we focused a lot on social media, but um, I think personally, like I'm just not very good at it. So anyway, yeah, let's go back. So we'll go back to the top here. So we have we have to update this obviously, but we have all this stuff here. We can go and look at our settings, which we have nothing right now. I want to make this look more, I guess like the settings kind of look. So it's basically just going to be like black. So we can do that next time. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it now real quick. Why not? Let's go here. Let's look at buttons. It's actually inside here. It'll be text. And then we'll want to do foreground. Nope. Foreground. Oh, is it just color? How do you change the color of font? It's not foreground color. How do you do that? That's interesting. Swift UI text color. Font. Font style dot red. Oh, okay. So I guess then it's just font. Oh, sorry. Foreground style dot. Was it black? The other one? I think it was black. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. We have to do that over here too. Yeah, let's go back here. Okay. Oh, that's more of a gray. So these are more of a gray color. Oh, they are lighter though. Oh, wait. Not only are they lighter, but it's a different chevron. That is so stupid, Apple. Why? So how would I get? Do you see that? This chevron here is different than the one that we were able to use. So how do they have that option? A chevron. I just use chevron right. Do they have like a more rounded one? They don't. That's really stupid. Okay. Well, we'll have to figure that one out. And then as far as the color goes, I think this is a darker gray than the other one. So curious here, can I take this and put it here? Will it let me do that? I don't know. What do you think? Oh, well, yes, it does let me do it, but it's too... Secondary system fill. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure out what gray this is. Oh, all right. Well, wait a minute. Maybe we're getting somewhere. Nope. 3 maybe. How about that? How does that look? Is that the same shade of gray? I think that this one's actually darker. So let's try 2. I think this is right. Maybe. I'm gonna go with this one for right now. So, all right, we have our kind of sheet that comes up. Eventually, oh yeah, wait. Let's put this in here. Let's do this. History. There we go. Okay. Or we can clean this up too because we're gonna want this to be. You know what? Let's just do this right now, shall we? History view. We want it to be user pro. Oh no. Sorry. This is different. Actually, I mean they're kind of like. Yeah, no, they're different. All right, so we have this here, which no longer works apparently. Why doesn't this work? History. All right, so that comes up. History, this doesn't do anything, which I think is fine. Settings though does go to settings. All right, so we are making progress here. So this is good. This is definitely good. We are making progress. So, all right, I'm gonna cut the stream there, and then tomorrow I might play around with some stuff a little bit more today as well. Just not like doing work that I'm not showing, but more so just uh like learning about Swift. Like I do have some open-ended questions. I wanted to learn about like interfaces specifically, um, or whatever they call them. I don't know. Maybe they call them protocols or something like that. So I'll have to learn about that. But yeah. All right. Cool. So cheers, dude. I'm excited for this project. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate it. That'd be really cool. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow, or I think it'll be tomorrow. Um, I it might be shorter tomorrow because I have something to do in the morning. But but yeah. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. And if please like it if you liked it, and subscribe and all that stuff for other people watching too. All right, appreciate it. Later, guys.